I am evil. Doesn't matter. You are hired. Wait, what's going on? So it's 1969 and America lands guys on the moon. Best day for humanity, right? Except that the guy who built the rocket was a Nazi. Hello? The US government knew about this and hired him anyway, along with 1,600 more of his Nazi buddies. But why? This is the true story of Operation Paperclip, something I would say as the most unhinged human resources hiring strategy in American history. I make missiles. Oh, I like the energy you bring to the table. Just to be clear, the Nazis did not infiltrate America. America brought them over. And here's how it happened. So it's 1945. Hitler is dead and the war is over. Wars, as you know, leave something behind. And in this case, the Germans had technology.
Wow.
Like what? Ballistic rockets, powerful jet engines, and nerve agents so deadly. The Germans themselves didn't have the balls to use them. So while everyone else was carving up the spoils of Germany, America and the Soviet Union were racing for a completely different prize. The nerds who built all this stuff, whoever grabs the scientists first, basically gets a free military tech upgrade. He's mine. I saw him first. Yet, he belongs to the motherland. Nope. Homeland. Motherland. Homeland. Motherland. Now, meet Wernher von Braun, German Nazi genius and future Apollo 11 legend. This guy had been obsessed with rockets since he was a teenager. And so he joined the Nazi Party in 1937. Then eventually, the SS in 1940, because apparently, being a regular Nazi wasn't cool enough. In case you don't know, the SS was Hitler's personal death squad / secret police / personal cult. These guys were behind Germany's machine of terror. Now, our dear von Braun climbed the ranks to Sturmbannführer, something like a military major, and he did this while running the Third Reich's rocket program. And his masterpiece, this, the world's first ever long-range ballistic missile, there was no way to shoot it down because you wouldn't even hear it coming. It just showed up and blasted everyone and everything to smithereens. Nice, right? Well, the problem was that this missile was built on the back of slave labor. Yep, concentration camps. And von Braun knew about this, but he didn't care. Good morning, team. Fantastic energy in the cave today. Let's do a quick huddle. Our bomb failed to hit the target, so we need to build a new one. Ooh, what? So Germany collapsed, but von Braun was like, meh. He had a plan. So he loaded his top engineers up a truck, took lots of blueprints and research documents, and personally surrendered to the Americans. With a smile. By September 1945, Truman signs up on a plan called Operation Overcast, later renamed Operation Paperclip. The idea? Bring the best German scientists to the United States and plug them into the American war machine before the Soviets take them up first. But Truman had one tiny condition though: no hardcore Nazis and no war criminals. Sounds great on paper, but problematic in real life. Why? Because most of these German scientists were hardcore Nazis. So, if you were in charge of this operation, what would you do? The military men in their private therapy sessions said, "You cannot change the man, but you can change the paperwork." As that is how this circle jerk began. The men in charge doctored the resume not only of von Braun, but that of 1,600 Nazi scientists. And yes, this included scientists whose research involved torturing prisoners in concentration camps. I tortured human beings. Amazing. Here's a job offer. Just shut your mouth about it, okay? So, von Braun and his crew were brought to the US. To do what exactly? Well, to keep building weapons and technology. Only this time, they're the good ones. Von Braun eventually became a celebrity. He wrote about space travel, teamed up with Walt Disney for TV shows about rockets and spaceships. He was America's darling. The country swooned over the idea that he could get people on the moon. And get people to the moon he did. By the late 1950s, he was not a military secret asset anymore. He was a full-blown superstar, America's favorite rocket scientist. Interviews, handshakes, the whole enchilada. Then in 1958, NASA was born. And who was the first director of NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center? You guessed it right. Von Braun and his Nazi team took over. And that is how he became the chief architect of the Saturn V, the same rocket that sent Apollo 11 to the moon in July 1969, which until today, some people believe was shot in Hollywood. So, bad guy builds V2 with slave labor, evades justice and accountability for his war crimes, then builds the Saturn V that made it possible to plant an American flag on the moon. Same guy, same team, new uniform. Now, think about this. America took Hitler's people, and someone somewhere decided that the problem was not the men or their belief in racial supremacy. The problem was their resume. The solution? Burn the papers and rewrite their backgrounds. More than 1,600 Nazi scientists came to the United States under Operation Paperclip. Most of them lived long, cushy, well-paid American lives. Pensions, ranch houses, you name it. They literally went to a barbecue party instead of a war crimes tribunal. So what do you think? Was it the right thing to do? If these Nazis did not work for America, the Soviets would have beaten the US in the space race. But does the end justify the means?